And to put the spiritual and spiritualist tonight as we welcome Claudia and Coptic. She's been through self-discovery and self-mastery, I think, too, haven't you? Training. And she's very genuine, very, very gifted intuitively. And she's going to share her gifts of her intuition and the spirit with us so we can expand our wings and spread our wings for trusting ourselves to ascend and grow and learn. And it's a simple progress, trusting your intuition. Please welcome Claudia Gannon.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
We got the sound okay? All right, we're good to go here. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
So tonight, you get to work, because I'm not going to do all of it here. Trusting your intuition. Even I have trouble with that, and I've been learned and on the path of practice since 1997 at the Spiritualist Church. We're all born with intuition. Babies use it every moment. We use it every moment. Little children, they know who they can trust and who they can't trust. They surely know when they want to be at the grocery store and when they don't. And they let us know. As we explore our world, we don't learn much about making our own choices. We tend to follow what our tribe, our family, has taught us until we learn that some of the things they teach us aren't good with our own heart. And so then we start stretching out with our intuition and we start listening to our guidance. Whether you know it or not, you do. And you listen to that over the rules. You listen to your heart over the rules. We have so many rules on this planet. They can make your head spin. Like, no, go this way, go that way. What is your heart saying? So this evening, we're going to explore the process and put that spark of intuitive abilities back in the forefront of our world and of our every moment. Our intuition is really a very powerful tool. And I am very grateful that I am in this space and time, that I know how powerful that tool is. And I'm excited about finding out more and more all the time. And the way that we find out more and more all the time is to go into meditation. And so this evening, I'm going to take you on a short journey. We'll go as deep as you want to, and I will bring you back. But the focus tonight is about finding something in your heart, finding something in your physical world that you have a question about, that you need guidance for, that you just want to explore. And so as we go into meditation, that's going to be our intent. Not that you have to even think about it, just go into the silence. So if you would all take a posture of meditation and close your eyes. And take a few deep breaths. Cleanse that body with air. Relax on the out breath. And as we go in each individually into our own place, our own space, that bright light within, detach from all the fears. Detach from all the limitations that come your way every day. Clear that internal resistance and the negative emotions. That resistance can pop up when you least expect it. The awareness of that is what brings us the clarity and the freedom to be who we really are. Breathe in self-love. Breathe in self-compassion. Allow those inner hunches and notions to speak to you, not just in this quiet space, but in the chaos of the world as we go from this place today and every day. Let that silence speak loudly over the chaos of the world. That silence that has no time or space. That's where you will find those tools to make those positive, incredible choices. Embrace the beauty of the silence. Embrace the beauty of wisdom of this present moment. It's time to come back. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Okay, we can have the lights back on now, those magic light turnaround offers. Well, recently, it finally came to my awareness that I was going to have to do something about this problem that I have. And that problem is that every once in a while, this great big garage door would come down and go boom. And I'm like, oh my goodness, good thing it doesn't have any windows in it. But it's a 1973 vintage, so, can't complain too much. But the other day I was looking up at the cable that holds it up, and it's all frayed at the top, and I'm like, that can't be good. Even though I diligently, every year since we've lived there for like 11 years, sprayed the little wheels so they wouldn't, get stuck, and so it would be easier for that door opener to bring it up. And then there's a stripe on the outside of my door of the oil from this garage door opener. And I'm like, I think it's time. And so I'm like, okay, now I'm thinking, do I get it fixed? Because I know you get all the new parts, Because I've looked into it a couple times, and it was talking about garage doors, especially in Michigan. They need to be heavy enough to withstand the winds from the tornadoes and blah, 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 And I'm like, oh, God, this is how long I've been putting this off. Been studying it and checking it out. And so I thought, well, I don't know. I think I need to do some billets which are French for pieces of paper. And so I wrote out what I wanted to do, and I wrote out my questions and my concerns so that I could get really clear about it. And I put all those thoughts on paper. And then I started thinking about the solutions. So I put each one of those and I ended up with the 4 or 5 pieces of paper. And I folded them up after I was done writing on them what I thought maybe would be a good solution or a good direction to go. And folded them all up, mixed them all up, and picked one. And the first one that I picked, I'm like, this feels pretty neutral. This isn't much help. And then I got this feeling that got a little quiet yes in my head, but it still didn't make me happy. It didn't, it's like, no. All right, so I put that one down. I wrote number 1 on it, and I kind of took a little notes on the back of it to tell me what I had felt or heard or seen, okay? And then I picked the second one, and I heard a no, and it felt really yucky. Like, okay, I guess whatever this paper says, I don't think I'm going to do that. So I wrote a number 2 on it, and I wrote on the back of it, without opening it, what I had felt and picked up. Then I got to number 3, and it felt very happy. It felt safe. I'm like, this is much better. And so I put that information on that particular piece of paper and put that one down, and I picked up the 4th one, and I get this impression on occasion, quite a few occasions, of jumping up and down. And I'm like, well, that usually means happy, but I don't know, it still didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right. And so I wrote that on the outside of the paper and put that one down and picked up the last one. And this one really got me because it was just like a blank slate. Nothing. Like, now what do I do, But what I've learned from a blank slate, that sometimes it can mean that, okay, you can write in what you want to do. It's a chalkboard, it's empty, it's black, it's, well, they don't have them black anymore, but, whatever. And so I thought, okay, I'll put that one down. So I had gone through all of them, and I'm like, okay, I picked up number 1 again, and that one, I had written on the words other choice, other answer, other. And I'm like, okay, well, that's the one that didn't really make me happy. It was pretty neutral. So maybe it's going to be one of the choices that I put on there and not the other choice. So I put that one back down now that I had opened it all up. Okay, the second one, I had put on that piece of paper, Lowe's, that maybe that would be a good choice of a place to go to get a new garage door. That's the one that felt yucky. So I said, okay, I guess that one's out. Then the third one, I had put on that one the option to get a new garage door opener and just get the rest of it repaired. No, I'm sorry, that one was to get the whole new garage door and a new opener. That's the one that felt happy and safe. I was like, oh, phew, I think this is it. But I still have 2 more pieces of paper. So I picked up the 4th one, which is the one I was getting the jumping to. And that one was that I wrote down, get a new opener, but get the rest of it repaired. You know, this can get really complicated. It's just how weird and how obsessive you want to get about it and how much time you want to spend. I would have, you know, don't do more than 5 pieces of paper. You go crazy. And so I've picked up the 5th one, and that one said a garage door company. So I'm going, okay, I know Lowe's is out, so I'm probably pick a garage door company. And so that's what I did. I got out my pendulum, went down the phone book, and found one that sounded good. He's laughing. Hey, it worked. And I chose the company, and I called the guy, and he came out. And I was still not sure about all this answers. You know, I'm like, I'm keeping open here. I'm not going to be so silly as not to listen to what he says and stuff. But, you know, the minute he came through the door, I knew what the answer was. I knew that I needed a new door and a new opener. And so he kind of confirmed that for me. And it's a fun process to use. And oh, one other thing that I wanted to tell you, you know, I got the yuck on the Lowe's. About 2 or 3 years ago, I had gone to Lowe's, priced out a garage door. It was twice as much as this company was going to. I'm like, yay! So that was my little adventure. If you have something that requires more than a yes/no answer, this is a good way to do it. Otherwise, you know, you can just say, is this good? Yes. Is it not? Yeah. Yes/no's aren't always the perfect answer. So sometimes this can be a lot of fun, and you can drive everybody crazy with it. So I have my Miss Vanna is going to help me tonight by handing out papers for me.
I have a really good garage guy.
Do you?
If you don't have it done yet, I'll give you his info.
You can pass those out. Anybody need a pencil or a pen? Right, I got
Maybe
pencils.
we're supposed to tell this, right, so I can tell you about him.
Maybe, except it's already a done deal.
Oh,
Anybody else need a pencil? Hopefully I give you one that's sharpened.
Thank you.
okay.
These are my Girl Scout pencils. So they gotta be good,
Well,
right?
I'm a Girl Scout.
Yeah. Oop,
I passed mine on down.
okay, good boy. Oh, we need another one.
Fancy dancy.
Yeah, dollar store.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, anybody else? I think we got it. Oh, Mike needs one. You never know.
May I have a pencil?
Yes, you may.
Thank you, dear.
Okay. All right, so stapled twice because I wasn't real organized. There's a few pieces of paper there. I don't even remember how many I gave you. So what I would like you to do is think of something that you can write short, because you don't have a very big piece of paper here, that you would like to explore an answer to. And write that on one of those pieces of paper. Okay? So we'll just give you a few minutes to do that. And
Write the question
yeah,
on
right,
one of them.
correct. Just take one piece of paper and write the question, if you need to. You know, if you've been asking yourself this question for a while, you might not need to write it down. The way it works sometimes. The last time I did this with a group, afterwards, a couple different people came up to me and said, wow. And I had a mom come up to me and said, my daughter, I can't believe the answers she came up with. Like, yeah, works for all of us, no matter if we're a mom, a kid, or whatever. How we doing? So then go through the process like I did, and it's written out here so you can refer back to it. Review your thoughts, selecting one topic of focus. It can be an idea, a desire, a want, a problem, and write it down. Okay, so we did that. Explore solutions, time frames perhaps, people, places. Write one of these on a slip of paper. And don't forget to put one that says other or something else. Fold each of them as you go along. No cheating. And then when you're all done, you can kind of mix those up on your lap or on the floor, wherever it works. Anybody have any questions? Everybody's got it. So you just keep going as you move along. And if you only want to use 2 or 3 pieces of paper, that's fine. Whatever pops into your head. Sometimes it may take a while before you know which one is going to work best for you. Sometimes you don't have all the information. My daughter has been on a roller coaster for a couple years now. And a couple times I said, Trina, you don't have enough information yet to make that decision. You're going to have to wait. And she's, yeah, patience and waiting, that's not our strong point, is it? But, sometimes these happen very quickly and sometimes they don't. Being a medium and giving people messages, sometimes it's somebody I don't even know and I might never see them again. So I have to trust that what I'm speaking to them is correct. And I have a strong enough relationship with my workers and spirit guides that I've learned to trust them. It's easier for me to read for you, believe me, than it is for me to read for myself. That's why I do the paper. Okay, so when you're done with that, that's when you can start having the fun and take note of which one you pick up first and write a number 1 on that. And then give yourself time. Sometimes the answers come quickly, sometimes they don't come at all. Like a couple of mine were giving me a big surprise. I'm like, oh, come on, there's got to be something here.
Do we go by how we feel when we pick that one up?
What you might see, what you might hear. I hear words all the time. You might hear a phrase, you might hear a word. You might get an impression of something, a picture, so to speak, or you might get a feeling. We learn 3 ways and we teach 3 ways, and those are audio, visual, and kinesthetic. And sometimes, we're doing that all our life. We just don't consciously use the tools. And when you start consciously learning, and then sometimes you get over, we all do that. We get to the point where we're like totally counting on what we think is our intuition. But when, we weren't listening to the nudge we got yesterday, and we weren't listening to the picture we saw in our head yesterday. So it's about listening, being aware. Awareness is huge also with intuition. And then trusting it. I'll tell you a little story about my son. When his daughter was about 3, oh my goodness, this child, she was seeing things. She was seeing entities come out of the basement wall. And she was telling her parents what the name of this person was and what he looked like. He had a workman's helmet on. He was young. And actually, Floyd was able to pick up that it was one of my nephews that had gotten killed in road construction. But she called him the Benning guy. And so this made her parents very aware that she, at 3, was picking up all this stuff. Well, my son, he would start asking this 3-year-old questions, and she'd give him the answer, and then he would not believe her. I'm like, Brian, you cannot do that. When she gives you an answer, you need to pay, just because it's not what you wanted to hear, you have to pay attention, and don't be asking her again because she trusts in herself. You have to trust in her. So the same little girl, a few years, maybe about a year later, at 2, she's just starting to talk. He was looking for a car, and so he took her with him. And this one car, she would not get into it. She would not. So my son calls Floyd and asked him, and he said, I've been looking for some cars, and I got these 3 of them that I've been looking at. And Floyd said to him, don't get the green one. And he goes, that's the one that Jasmine would not get in. So he learned his lesson hard. So how's everybody doing? Are you ready to pick them up and see what you got? Or have you done that already? You can go for it. Yep. Now.
So we're supposed to pick up number 1 first, right?
Just no matter which one you have there, pick it up. Whichever one,
Put number 1
put
on.
number 1 on it. Whichever one you pick up first, put number 1 on. Then see what it feels like. See if you get any words. All that good stuff. I know I was chatting too much. You couldn't concentrate. And don't, you don't need to take a lot of time. Sometimes when you do, it gets confusing.
So should we open all of them? Or just the first?
So you go through all of them first, put the number on them. This is number 1, what did it feel like? This is number 2, what did it feel like? And go through them like that. Then when you're all done, then go back and read them and see if it feels right to you. See if you are trusting yourself. She's laughing.
Number one, I wrote happier, felt lose more weight.
Your body is happy, yes. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else have any ahas yet? This wasn't, well, yeah. We had fun doing the other one that I did when we were walking around to the music and asking, I don't know why I'm saying this, but this is kind of the same thing. It all goes together, right? Yeah.
I'm not getting anything with number 1, number 2. Nothing,
Rose, you give me this story all the time.
you know. Still relevant.
Well, I tell you what, Rose, you can take those home and ponder over them as long as you'd like. One of these days, you'll get something on it. Like maybe right now. Rose works too hard at it. You just got to take it off the top of your head, the first thing that comes into your mind. So how's everybody doing? Anybody else got something they want to share? Such a lively group tonight.
I can share a related example.
Okay, go for it.
Back before I bought this camera, I was researching all sorts of different cameras and which way to go, and they all have pluses and minuses, and there's no perfect one.
Right.
And eventually I got down to, okay, I'm either going with a Sony, a Canon, or a Panasonic. And so I kind of put the 3 answers in 3 piles, and the thing I do is I put my hand over each one, and it's like, which one do I feel the most heat with?
There you go.
This is the one that came up.
All right, and you're happy.
Yep.
What is it?
This is the Panasonic.
And you've had it for how long now?
A little over a year and a half.
Perfect.
And it worked out a lot better than I thought it was going to.
And then when you buy it, then you find out there's 4 more new ones that came out the next day, right?
Well, not quite the next.
Not quite. Okay, anybody else have any questions or want to share anything? Sure,
Okay, so we were supposed to base this on an initial question, right?
exactly.
So my initial question was, how do I pursue a composer's career? And I pretty much got excitement and be patient with this one. Be patient, stay on the path and avoid distractions.
All right, there you go. So I don't want to open too big of a can of worms here, but Linda, may I add to that for you?
Sure. I'm always open to your wisdom, my dear.
Well, I'm getting an impression of fireworks with that. So that could be, 4th of July is gone, but an impression like that can be a time frame, but it also can be just exactly that, a celebration or something like that. I'm asking about a time frame, and it's going to be here before you Yeah,
Well, we might have gotten one job, Alan and I together,
awesome.
and one free together.
Is it making you excited or nervous? Good.
Both, the paid one is making me nervous.
Yep, that's the way it goes. Okay, how about anybody else? Want to share? Anybody else want me to add to Nancy back there? May I step with you? No, I don't usually do this. Okay.
You want my question and then my,
No, I'm just going to add to whatever you got.
something else?
My spirit workers know what your question is, and they've been talking to your spirit workers. And so what they want me to add to everything that you've learned just in the last few minutes is, number one, I'm just taking a deep breath. They want you to take a deep breath and remind yourself to do that frequently. And when you release the breath, just relax and know all is well. And that is what they're saying to you. All is well in your life. And just relax into it. Miss Rose,
Are your spirit, people talking to my spirit people?
they always do. When you
Sorry?
when we touch together, when we're engaged, that's the way it works.
Do you,
Okay,
do they
so
know my question?
of course they do.
Do they have an addition to my answer?
I'm getting incredible energy with it. And this is where it's difficult to weed things out because I know what's going on in Rose's life and I probably know what her question was. But I'm just getting a lot of energy confirmation with, and it's go with your heart, Rose. Go with your heart.
Thank you.
You know, all the pieces of paper in the world are not going to help you unless you go with your heart. Diane.
So I have some projects that I'm working on and some of it scares me and some of it excites me. So, but the piece of, so as I picked them up, I definitely got feelings in the paper, and one of them I just felt dead, actually, just dead. No, just that, and that was the piece.
Straight lined, right?
It said something else.
Okay, let's stop and tap into that for a minute. It's like they're saying to me, you don't need to focus on something else. You focus on the other ones.
You know, to write actually the word dead, all of those options and have it coincide with the something else, I think that's amazing, really.
It does trick you. Or There is so much beauty in your heart, and yet so much struggle in your life. And yet I've watched you personally struggle with the same issue over and over and over again. And we all tend to do that, but maybe not to the state that you have with such a big issue of where am I going to live? What am I going to, where's my job? Blah, 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 blah. And they're just telling you to stay with your heart because you know what your heart is saying. And the rest of it, I'm seeing things just melting away. Melting away. Yeah. Miss Bella. Well, that's a sign. Pick it up, Bella. they're saying you have so much joy in your heart. And there are many things that detaching from would be very helpful to you. And we all have, that's a daily process, detaching from our thoughts that aren't working, detaching from things, detaching from expecting too much from ourselves. So you might be wise to sit down and write a list of things you could detach from that would make your life happier. We could all do that, huh? Okay, how are we doing? Ms. Jones.
Any thoughts on my answers? On my questions?
Happy. Ooh, and then I'm being spiraled down into this dark space inside of you, where you have a little bit of exploring to do to pull that out into the light. And that's what I'm getting. Okay, I think we're pretty close to time here. But does anybody else want a little? Okay. I feel like your question was actually two questions. And the answer to one of them will come very, very shortly, like in the next couple days or whatever. Stuff it out there. And then the other one will be a slow progression. And that one is most important because that one's the one you need to be aware, be very aware what's going on. And Mr. John, may I bring you a few sentences here? I don't know the name of this person that passed on to the other side that I've already given you a message about, but he's here with you always. And so much love and so much happiness he brings. And he's still giving you the same message. You got a long time to go because you got a lot of work to do here. All right, thank you so much. I'm hoping, Mike, did you? No, okay, you're good. You're a smiley face. Thank you so much. Hope it was helpful.